It's the year 2003, Doctor Who's 40th anniversary, and Big Finish has been releasing audio dramas featuring the 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th Doctor for around 4 years at this point. Paul McGann has had several blocks of stories, better known as 8th Doctor seasons, in the monthly adventures range. Starting with Season 1, which started off the 8th Doctor run with Storm running, along with 3 other stories. Those 3 being Sword of Orion, Stones in the East, and Minute in Hell. He also would appear in the 40th anniversary special Zack, but during that month another audio was released which started off the 8th Doctor Adventures reign. Set in Italy in the year 1982, where the 8th Doctor, played by Paul McGann, and his companion Charlie, played by India Fisher, have stumbled upon a plot to take over planet Earth by creating a portal in Living Legend, written by Scott Gray. So we start with the Doctor and Charlie finding out that the Italians are celebrating because of their victory against the British in the 1982 World Cup final by having a 3-1 score, before quickly stumbling upon 2 Frellips who are busy setting up a portal. The Frellips are an aggressive race who have stumbled upon Earth and decided to try to take it over. And it seems the Frellips have even had interactions with the Time Lords, as they have advanced technology to the point that their guns can level the forests with ease. And right from the get-go, we understand these 2 characters' personalities. Captain Vengor, played by Stephen Perring, is prideful and snobby, while Fawn, played by Conrad Westmass, is more exhausted and tired of dealing with Vengor. The Doctor and Charlie stumble upon their plan and come up with quite an interesting scheme to fool the Frellips without needing to fear being gunned down in a heartbeat. The Doctor moves the TARDIS to where the Frellips are building the portal, and then emerge dressed in Time Lord clothing. Now, admittedly the cover does give this away, as it shows the Doctor and Charlie are Charlios D and Te Shias, as she is stopped by the Doctor when they emerge from the TARDIS. The disguises do fool Vengor, especially when he hears about him apparently being one of the greatest warriors of the Frelip race, and in history itself. His pride and ego getting a hold of him as he and the Doctor walk to the town to apparently see... well, the Doctor already said it himself.
From us.
My lady, I...
No! No, tell me everything! Every detail!
Perhaps you'd like to see some of this planet's inhabitants, Captain.
Why would I want to do that?
Well, they will be the first slaves of your new regime. I just thought you might be interested.
Oh, yes, of course!
Ends up being chucked into a window, which is partly because he thought that Vengor was just wearing a silly costume. The Doctor uses that as well to make Vengor think he's gotten the plague after physical contact with the man, who got thrown through the window, since the Frellips aren't immune to World Cup fever, making Vengor take tons of medicine pills from bottles as he trusts the Doctor's advice. In doing so, it just makes him more ill, so the Doctor uses that to his advantage as well. The main reason why Vengor managed to get so many pills, though, is because he seemingly chucked the man into a clinic's window. And then Vengor just keeps getting angered and scared for his life by all of this, as he demands for more pill bottles from the Doctor. Charlie, on the other hand, stayed with Fawn, as he worked on the portal. Temptation gets to Fawn as well, as he asks what happens to him after they supposedly take over the planet Earth, and Charlie tells him the exact things he'd never want to hear.
What name are you babbling about? Spit it out, man!
How am I remembered, my lady? In history?
Thorn, let me think.
Yes?
Do you know, it's quite peculiar. Future Threlip history is mostly based upon Vengor's personal memoirs. I have read all 56 volumes.
Yeah?
And I cannot recall a single mention of any Thorn.
She changes this though when bringing up Volume 17, Chapter 73 of Vengor's personal writings, where it apparently mentions Fawn, but once again not in the way Fawn would have probably wanted it to, as it leads to Fawn getting extremely angered by these words, as he was made the mascot of the team and called not very bright. And Charlie explains about Fawn's demise as written by Vengor, and I quote, "He'd follow me anywhere. One day, he followed me into the path of a hedge trimmer and was chopped into little bits." End quote. It also says Vengor found it highly amusing. This leads to a climax where Fawn starts fighting Vengor and goes into a complete tantrum after dealing with so many insults, problems, fixing grammar with no thanks or mentions at all. All of that over the course of 32 years, and he's apparently remembered as a simple petty fool. Charlie ends up taking command and breaking up Vengor and Fawn's battle, insulting them for mixing up the time stream and being a prime example why the Time Lords don't share history of lesser beings, declaring the two should be sent home to their home planet so Vengor can be treated properly from his World Cup fever. So Fawn and Vengor set off to leave, but not before a rather touching, if not funny, goodbye. Well, again, I think the audio says it itself.
Call me Vengor, Doctor. You... come here. You are the finest friend I've ever known.
Thank you, Vengor. I'm truly touched. Especially my ribs.
But instead of being sent to their home planet, they're teleported to the 17th moon of Mordalius Prime, a desolate moon where they'll have no real form of company aside from each other. So that is Living Legend. Now, the story is well structured. If it was any longer than 20 minutes, I don't think this story would be as enjoyable. It's a small bottle-style episode which fits the story just right, with generally interesting and, dare I say, unique ideas from the Doctor and Charlie pretending to be your average boring Time Lord from Gallifrey, or the Doctor making up an illness. Now, don't quote me on those, because there might be a few other occasions where those ideas and more have been used. As for the characters, primarily Vengor and Fawn, they're pretty good and... yeah. Vengor is an idiot. From the very start, you know he's just extremely gullible with how easily he's tricked by the Doctor into believing he's one of the greatest warriors and goes down in history as a legend, being disgusted by human beings and just easily throwing one through a window when they get too close for comfort. While Fawn is more the smarts in it, though we don't really see too much of that, which isn't really an issue. He is more clever, but I think it would be good to have some caution, but this is quickly swept away due to Vengor when the Doctor and Charlie arrive, as Vengor just believes that they were Time Lords, which again kind of just shows his stupidity in undermining some races. As for Charlie, she is very convincing as this high authority Time Lord, mocking Vengor and Fawn when they start fighting each other and snapping at the Doctor for his clear wrongdoings by interfering with time. Idiot Fisher really does sell that perfectly, and Paul McGann plays the Doctor great as well. Now, as for Living Legend as a whole, it's a good story and it works well with a 20-minute runtime. If it was any longer, I probably wouldn't recommend it as much, or maybe I would recommend it more because we get to see more of Vengor's stupidity throughout. Now, the release came out in November 2003 alongside a 30-minute making-of documentary for Zagreus. It's free to download on Big Finish, and there's a link in the description if you want to check it out. I personally would recommend listening to this for any reason, whether it be a case where you want to get into audio dramas or just want a short story to listen to maybe help pass the time. If you're looking for a good insight into what the 8th Doctor or Charlie are like though, I would recommend listening to some of the 8th Doctor monthly adventures. Mainly Storm Warning to help get a base for Charlie's character, especially considering what happens later down the line due to the events in Storm Warning, along with Sword of Orion and the other two in Season 1 of the 8th Doctor, which are, again, Stones in Venice and Minute in Hell. And of course you could easily slide Living Legend into this bundle if you wanted to. I think Living Legend is a strong 8 out of 10 story. It's funny and moves at a strong, short but sweet pace. Though again, if you wanted to get a strong understanding of the 8th Doctor and Charlie's natural character, then this is not the best place to start that off. But anyways, my name is Pixel Johnson, and I would like to thank you for listening to Pixel Reviews. See you next time.